Hey guys, what's going on? Mark here from TST Industries. I am not in the garage today, I'm outside. And today I am here, I'm currently walking to our race trailer because we got a new bike. And I am tasked with doing another first ride review. So this is the first look at the bike for you guys. I have seen it, I know what it is. And I'm really excited to share it with you all. So without further ado, let's go ahead and unveil. And here we are. After months and months of waiting, we finally got our very own 2021 Honda CRF300L. Now this is a upgrade. This is a replacement on the 250. The 250 is gone with. Started off in 2012 and it is now discontinued. They've upped the displacement on this bike for the 300 from 250 to 286 cc's. Still has 6 gears. They've re-geared or have redone the ratios on the gearing. So you're getting a lot more commuter friendly the first 5 gears, and the 6th gear is a little bit taller, hopefully making it a little bit more manageable and fun going onto some of those higher speed roads. It's 11 pounds lighter than the 250 due to an upgraded chassis, suspension, engine, all that good stuff. Let's see, we have a 34-inch seat height. It does come with some knobbies, which we love. I know a lot of sumo guys out there are probably just going to swap these for some street tires. It's about 330 pounds soaking wet, and it is available in, I guess, 4 trims technically. There's ABS, non-ABS, and then we have Rally. Within the Rally, there's ABS and non-ABS. The Rally version, this is not the Rally version, this is the base 300L, non-ABS. We wanted the bare bones one, but the Rally edition does come with a different headlight, windscreen, a skid plate of sorts on the belly pan. You're getting a more adventure-friendly bike. You do get some lever guards up here for your levers. It's just more adventure-inspired. So if you're looking for something to putt around on in the city and the town and just have fun, 300 is probably the way to go. If you're in an area that's more rural, or you have a lot of trails, or you just want to be able to explore, the adventure version may be the one for you. We have a 27 horsepower motor, a 2-gallon gas tank. We have a 2-piston single rotor front braking system. It is a Nissan driven braking system, and on the rear we have a single piston Nissan braking system as well. But this is going to be my first ride, my genuine thoughts and feelings on this beautiful bike. I do like the HRC kind of color scheme they've got going on. I do think this panel needs something, not sure what, and as always we are going to develop some parts for it, so stay tuned. Without further ado, I think it's time that I throw some dirt on this machine, have some fun. We're going to do 3 different riding areas to give you guys a true idea of what this bike can or can't handle. We're going to take this bike on an open road with a slightly higher top speed or speed limit, kind of get a sense of how it handles with wind and traffic. The second setting I'll be getting into is more of a commuter, inner city style riding. I do think a lot of people will buy this bike because they want to commute on it. Kind of want to do the everyday errands, go to work, have some fun, hang out with friends. So I will be taking it on more tight, narrow roads, maybe some alleyways, getting a sense of what this thing can handle at commuting settings. And lastly, we will be taking it into the dirt to see what this bike can or can't handle. But we are going to take this to a nice little dirt compound that we know of with some nice trails, give it a true scrub down, hopefully not drop it down. And so if you're interested in those 3, be sure to hit the chapters below on this video. We will timestamp them, so if you want to see me going on an open road, you can click on the timeline. If you just want to see what's going on in the city, you can click on it. And if you just want to see me eat dirt, you can click on that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm excited to ride this thing. I hope you guys are too, and come along for the ride. All right, and here we are. So it's important to note, I mentioned seat height earlier on this bike. It's important to note that I am 5'7", and this bike does have a 34-inch seat height. I like to say I'm 5'8" sometimes, but don't really know. But needless to say, this bike is completely manageable. It does have an 11-inch, slightly over 11-inch ground clearance. So, going over berms, little tree stumps, things like that, that may hit the bottom of the bike, shouldn't be a problem at all in the slightest. I'm noticing right off the bat that it's a very user-friendly bike, like most sub 500cc motorcycles. The taller seat height, the really soft suspension does make this a super inviting motorcycle. And I will just blatantly say that normally when I'm riding, I'm used to it being a much stiffer ride. So it does take a little bit getting used to. And I will also say that the slipper clutch edition, it's like a slipper assist clutch. It's not a true, race inspired slipper clutch, but it is meant to help on some of the exiting and entries of corners. So the bike isn't, you dump the clutch and it's not really that sudden jolt. Not a lot of wind. And this is coming from someone, you've seen me do the first ride review on the MT-03. You've seen me do the first ride review on our 2022 Honda Grom. And I own an MT-07. Those are all bikes that don't have windscreens. They're naked bikes, they're mini bikes. They don't have that wind deflection. Neither does this one. And it's still very, very forgiving on the rider, at least initially. Obviously, we've only gotten it up to like 30 or 40. So we haven't really been able to get it up to speed. I do immediately see the re-gearing that they were boasting. First, second, and third, and fourth that I just flew through were very, very short. And I'm sure as we get onto the more open road, we'll see that 6th gear is probably a little bit longer. And I like the idea of it. I guess we'll kind of see how it feels. Coming from someone who has ridden a DRZ 400, I will also say that throwing my leg over on this bike was a non-issue as someone who stands at 5'7" tall. It was a non-issue. I didn't scrape my foot on the tail section or any of the fairings. And once I sat on the bike, the way the suspension compressed, totally manageable. So for anybody out there that's used to the supermoto style of riding and it being a taller ride, I wouldn't throw this off the boat just yet. This is really manageable, and even coming to a stop back there at the stop sign, I'm able to put my foot down and not worry about it. The seat, pretty comfortable. Obviously it's a brand new bike with 5 miles. Ooh, something I just realized. That dash is the same exact dash as the new generation Grom. So Honda engineers, shout out to you. Like with most manufacturers, you went to the parts bin and said, what can we reuse? There are a few things that right off the bat, I believe the tail light on this bike is found on the CBR either 300 or 500. I'm not 100% sure. The turn signals look exactly the same as every other Honda motorcycle. And the dash, that is literally the Grom dash. Or maybe the Grom dash is this one, who knows. But the gear indicator, rev limiter, everything's visible. Fuel gauge, all that stuff. Let's see if we can get the shift light to activate. Wow, even 5th gear is kind of tall. Oh, okay. That wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. But I am liking this bike. I was a little worried, I have to be honest, because I wasn't sure how the 300 was going to perform. I read all these think pieces on it, all these articles on it, I've seen a lot of first ride reviews. It seems like Honda has this this pattern of releasing bikes internationally a year before they come to the North America market. So I have seen people in different countries in South America and parts of Europe and Asia already riding these and doing reviews. And I would like to make a statement. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but it seems like this bike is very similar to the DRZ in a sense of it's kind of good at everything, but not great at one thing, if that makes any sense. This isn't a dirt bike, and it's not a true street bike. It has the soft suspension, it has the power delivery that you want out of a bike to keep up with traffic. But you definitely don't want to take this to the MX Park, and you definitely don't want to street race this, obviously. But it can. You can have some fun with it. As I mentioned in the intro, there's an adventure version of this bike, and it has a little bit more off-road inspired parts on it. So we'll see how it handles in the dirt. It does come stock with knobby tires. I'm not going to reiterate that stuff. But we do want to see what this bike can handle. Right now I'm in 6th gear. I'm seeing a little bit of wind. Not only resistance, obviously, but it's pushing me around a bit. I weigh about 190 pounds. If you've watched any of our previous videos, you will know that. I'm seeing a little bit of wind shake, but I kind of expected that with this bike. It's, again, slightly more powerful and about 11 pounds lighter than its predecessor. And I know from riding a DRZ 400 that the wind effects on that bike were pretty substantial. If you hopped on the highway, it was extremely noticeable. So we'll see how this review unfolds. And again, if you are watching this, I'm on an open road right now. I'm gonna go down this road as far as I can, really, where I'm kind of just cruising and going through 4th, 5th, and 6th gear pretty often to go through the rev range and try and give it a manufacturer suggested break-in period. You're not supposed to really sit at one RPM or the other. So I'm gonna try and follow the owner's manual. This is not a recommended procedure for anybody. We don't want you blaming us. So just keep that in mind. But this is the part where kind of on the open road, seeing how it handles, keeping up with traffic, getting up to higher speeds within the speed limit. That wasn't too bad. I cracked it open at about 3,500 RPMs in 6th gear, and it very quickly got up to about 8,000 RPMs. So there's a little bit of torque there. It's nothing that is, holy cow, this is gonna buck me off. But it's nice. It's definitely manageable. And I think a lot of people who want a lightweight bike but don't want to get a Grom, they might get this bike, honestly. This is a nice medium. It really is. Grips, you have a half waffle grip, which is nice, because especially if you take this off-road at all, you're you know, introducing a lot of bumps and vibrations and things, and your grip is important in those situations. You want to make sure that your hand doesn't slip and you don't crack the throttle open accidentally. That's a nice little feature that I think most supermotos have. I so badly just want to just run right off road and have some fun, but we're gonna save that. We're gonna save that. And if you do want to get to that part, you can click the chapters below on the little timeline here, and we'll take you right to the chapter where I take it off-road and hopefully, fingers crossed, don't eat dirt. And if you want to fast forward to the part where I'm kind of in the inner city, urban areas with stoplights and such, you can click on that one too. We want to give you guys a nice overall idea of our impressions on this bike and what you can expect if you're interested in getting one. And you can see I'm varying the RPMs here. Like I said, I want to try and give it a manufacturer suggested break-in. If it were up to me and I wasn't doing this first ride review, I would have just taken this to the dyno and put it through a few heat cycles and sent it off, and we would have been fine. But we're not doing that just yet. And I do want to give a huge shout out to our customer service team, Nate and Ben. So earlier this year, this bike released, or Honda announced it, and they were starting to sell it. However, with all the shipping issues worldwide and supply shortage, it's been very hard to get our hands on this. We put a deposit down to buy one, and I want to say it's been probably 4 or 5 months. And then finally, boom, yesterday it arrived. Our customer service team has, and I'm not exaggerating here, probably gotten over a dozen emails and calls a day. And same with our social media team. When are you guys going to have 300L parts? Well, the time is finally here, sort of. The bike is here now. Next step in this process, we'll start doing a parts feasibility. And this is kind of just an idea to give you all a glimpse of how we do things at TST. We'll do a parts feasibility, and that means that I'm going to take all the existing parts we have, some of the basic generic Honda parts and motorcycle parts in general, see what fits and what doesn't. Once we have that, we'll build a category, have some fun, continue making content and install videos, and then we will get into making the true parts that we are known for. If you're considering this bike, I think it is very, very important to go to a local dealership and see if they have one. Sit on it, get a feel for it. I think that'll be a big part of the buying factor, as it should be, because it is your bike. So you want to make sure that you're going to enjoy it and you're going to feel comfortable on it. First gear is very, very short. Second gear is a little bit longer. Same with third. But you can see right off the bat, I was able to flow into traffic effortlessly, and now I'm keeping up with traffic with no issues. We're going to get onto a really open road out here. See how it feels, how it handles. And then we're gonna head on into the I don't want to say a concrete jungle, because let's face it, where we're at in Central Florida, there's not any concrete jungles. That's Orlando. Well, we're not near Orlando too much, so we'll see how it is, see how it feels coming to constant stops at stoplights and with traffic and such. I'm excited to see how the slipper assist clutch plays into that at stoplights and things like that. And I'm gonna try and find a few alleyways to kind of navigate through and see. You know, this is a smaller bike. It's a lighter bike. It feels very, very nimble. So I'm excited to see how it feels kind of navigating in those conditions. Because I do think a lot of people in the inner city or in a suburban area will probably want to buy this bike, if I'm being just kind of honest here. Not bad at all, not bad at all. So far on all of these open roads, this bike is very, very user-friendly. It's very inviting. Sure, there is some wind interference, but I don't know if it's because I'm using a full-faced sport bike helmet versus a motocross helmet. My head isn't being torn around, my body isn't being swayed one way or the other drastically. It's very manageable, very, very manageable. I want to stress that a lot. Now, this is the part where I kind of get into the more commuter style setting. We're going into, right now we're in DeLand, Florida, in Central Florida. And I'm going to be rolling through Stetson University, classes in session. So I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of pedestrian traffic. And just a lot of traffic in general, a lot of red lights. So I'm going to try and honestly navigate with the traffic and that in mind as much as possible to get a good sense of how this bike feels. I do feel a lot of heat coming up from it so far. It's about 88 degrees here in Central Florida. This is a liquid cooled bike. I do feel a bit of heat so far. So I'm curious to see how that unfolds as I get into more stop and go traffic and such. Put about 15 miles on it so far. The seat still feels pretty firm. It's not terrible, thankfully. Brakes. The front brakes leave a lot to be desired. They have no initial bite at all. I haven't locked up the rear. I haven't even really used the rear brake, if I'm being honest. So the front brakes so far leave a lot to be desired. But what do you expect? You have a bike with really soft suspension and knobby tires. I think that's kind of the intended purpose of the brakes on this bike and how Honda designed it. But what do I know? I'm not an engineer. Alright, the traffic is starting to fold. The bike is heating up quite a bit. Again, I'm right now my goal in this portion of this first ride is to kind of replicate and experience what someone that would be commuting on this bike would experience. Whether it's commuting for school, commuting in inner city, in more open roads, whatever the case is. I want to try and replicate a lot of those situations where you are in some of that stop and go traffic, you are making tight maneuvers to navigate certain things. Come on, buddy. Seen people sending these bikes off of jumps, off of 20-foot tabletop jumps and such. And one thing that seems to be extremely consistent in those people who ride in those situations is the suspension does leave a lot to be desired. And as you can imagine, it is a supermoto. It's not a dirt bike, like I said. So be aware if you take this bike out expecting it to do dirt bike things, it will not do those things. You will more than likely bottom out the suspension somewhere. You may hit a tree stump or a root or a rock somewhere because of its 11.2 inch ground clearance. Let's see if I can turn around here. So lovely. That slipper assist clutch really does bring a lot of value. Can I go that way? Don't try this at home, kids. Staying in first and second gear and riding around and navigating in tight areas. I've said it enough and I'm gonna keep saying it, but the slipper assist clutch is bringing wonders to forearm pump, to your forearm muscles, because you're not stressing yourself out with that, and it's very nice and manageable. I don't feel like, oh geez, I can't take this on a trail because going in and out of gears is gonna cause me to have this massive cramp in my arm or anything like that. Very quick to get up to speed. I illustrated it before, demonstrated it before, and I just did it again. But we are going to head back to the shop, as I said, and we'll catch up with you guys on some dirt. Alright, and here we are. Got some nice trails. And the goal of this is to see how well this bike can handle some tight technical trails. After this, we will be taking it into some more open trails. But we want to see, can this thing handle some of these tight technical low gear this is really a test and going to be kind of evidence on how well the slipper clutch works or doesn't work, because most of the time we're probably going to be stuck in first and second gear here, maybe get into third a little bit. The first gear is very, very snappy. Let me wait for my follow cam to catch up. I didn't realize how fast I was moving. We got our videographer Ron behind me. Ron on a Grom. It's got some knobbies on it. I'll try and go a little slower so he can kind of keep up. But that is just a testament. I mean, it's double the power, but more so the handling. You're sitting more upright, obviously. You're not bottoming out as often as you do on a Grom, because Lord, we know how that is, right? The 11-inch curb height, clearance height for the belly, the oil pan and such, I think is a huge asset on any big bike compared to a Grom, but especially on this bike. Let's just send it. And I'll tell you, if you plan on doing any of this style of riding, the non-ABS model is the way to go. I could literally do this all day. This is about a mile of a track, maybe 3/4 of a mile. It's not a super big track, but it is pretty technical. And this thing is just kind of eating it up. No issues. So now, let's see if we could go to the big track. Yes. Yes. This bike is loving this. Truly loving this. Oh. Well, got some water in front of us. I don't know how big this one is. Oh man, should I send it? The problem is I don't know how deep this water is. Please hold. Yeah, should I send it? Yeah. There we go. That wasn't too bad. So far. Oh god. And this is where this is going to be a true testament of all you Grom owners out there that want to turn your Groms into dirt bikes so you can ride with your CRF buddies. This is why you should just you should just get a dirt bike or a sumo. Yeah, buddy. Shout out to Honda. Look at us. No other manufacturer is offering this type of versatility right now. I think the Grom got stuck. Yep, he's stuck. All right. Sugar sand killing you? Okay. You want to end it?
Yeah, this thing does not do well on the sugar sand. I can get through this, but look.
Don't sit on it as much. Yeah, don't sit on it as much. Try and lift it. Yeah, there you go. We could just go back. It's cool.
I don't know if I can turn around. Well, let me try to get through this.
Okay. And this is all sugar sand out here. Just to give you all an idea of the type of terrain we're dealing with over here. Oh, he made it. You're good, dude. Just stay out there. Oh, sick. All right, I guess let's just try and make it back. Let's go that way. I think this is more of the terrain you want to work in when you're on one of these or the Adventure. I mean, the sugar sand is fine. This can handle it, but some other bikes might not be able to. But this thing is just eating it up. Our follow cam is so far back, I'm gonna stop and wait. All right, so here we are. That was our first ride review of the all-new 2021 Honda CRF300L. Overall, I love it. It's a great bike. It handled everything we could throw at it today, which was quite a bit, with ease, and it didn't feel like it wanted more. It felt just right. It felt like if we pushed it any further, we might have run into some issues. The stock tires, gotta say, they're knobbies. They're kind of dual sport tires. I think that they're an awesome choice for the riders who are just buying this bike and don't really know its true capabilities. As you saw, we were able to ride it on the street with no issues and keep up with traffic, but we were also able to go out into the dirt. We did get a little dirty. My boots and pants are soaking wet, but the bike itself held up in pretty good condition. We got some dirt everywhere, but no damage. We ran into some tree stumps, some branches, and nothing that I'd be concerned about. If you want to do any more adventure riding, I would definitely recommend the rally version. But all in all, it's a great bike. I think the 300 is an awesome upgrade from the CRF250. I think Honda really hit the nail on the head, and I'm excited to see what else we can wring out of this machine. So as always, this is Mark from TST Industries. Don't forget to check out our website, tstindustries.com. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell, turn it on. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know if you have one of these bikes, if you're interested in getting one. If you have another model and you want to compare this to it, we want to hear it all. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Obviously, you're already on YouTube. And other than that, catch you guys next time. Ride safe. Peace.